Communism in Europe may be dead and buried, but the news hasn't reached these men. They're here to mark the birthday of their hero, Albania's former communist dictator Enver Hoxha. They may have loved him, but the paranoid Hoxha kept his country isolated for decades, and Albania is still paying the price for his ruthless rule. As decades of communist rule wore on, Albania gradually wore out. Since the dying days of communism, Albania developed a reputation for chaos, people and weapons smuggling, and as a hub of international organised crime, run by a mafia operating in the shadows. But Albania has a new hero, an artist turned mayor who's revitalising national pride with a bit of careful planning and the paintbrush. Since the collapse of communism in Albania, the same old politicians have played musical chairs with power. But today the band is striking up for a man who represents a new breed. His name is Edi Rama, he's the mayor of Albania's capital, Tirana, and he's on a mission.
Until now, our politics and our institutions have not promoted meritocratic ways of including people. It has been a very exclusive way of running the country. And this has brought desperation and a lot of disillusion about our own country.
By any measure, Edi is no ordinary mayor. A rap-singing former basketballer who once lived the life of a painter in Paris.
Kjo është Tirana jon, Tiranë e kontradiktës, e luftës, e paqes, e errësirës dhe dritës, mashtrimit të vërtetës, shpifjes interesit, e qefit dhe e stresit, ahengut dhe biznesit. Aty ku kryetari I vërtet me megafon. Gjithçka mund të ndodhi, jetojmë në Tiranë.
Edi speaks to a new generation with a message of hope and self-help.
Tirana, në zemrat tona, me jetë e me stona, e të shmendur, si do të jesh, ti je e jona.
And Mayor Rama has delivered. This was Tirana in 1997, torn apart by street riots, overwhelmed by problems. And this is Tirana today, renovated by a riot of colour. With a painter turned politician as mayor, the city's drab architecture has had a makeover. For the residents of Albania's capital, it was more than just a visual revolution.
This was the first political action to communicate with people, to set up a bridge between the people and the local authority. So when the colors started to appear, people were shocked. It was like shaking them and telling them, wake up.
Change, though, has not been easy. When Edi first became mayor in 2000, he walked into an office still trapped in the communist era.
When I entered here, I felt like entering a Kafka book. You know, it was like this building was completely different. I saw the biggest quantity of ashtrays I ever imagined. The corridor downstairs was foggy from the smoke. In the mayor's office, the ceiling was bleeding water.
Modernising the mayor's office was just the start. Edi soon turned his attention to the streets of Tirana. He tore down squatters' buildings along the river and bulldozed bars and clubs built illegally over Tirana's main park. This is that park today.
This was where 140-something illegal buildings were built, from 1 to 4 or 5 floors. It was kind of squatter.
Yeah, all illegal then.
Squatter. Yeah. And it was full of problems because a lot of criminality was concentrated here.
Yeah.
What we did was to erase all these buildings.
So there must have been a lot of people very angry. You're destroying their property and...
Yeah, they were not happy, but I repeated, the pressure and the desire of the public opinion to see it happen was so high and was so evident.
Were you threatened at all?
Well, these are part of the work here, so it's not something that one should keep in consideration. It's easy, you just erase the message, so...
Edi's renovation rescue did the trick. Tirana is now in the midst of a building boom. His vision for a new city is drawing offers and architects from far afield. Edi is in a hurry to make an impact, but some question the source of so much new money. Kreshnik Spahiu runs Albania's corruption watchdog.
Some of the business in Albania are laundering money here, and they have built so different company, in construction company, or working in a hotel or different business, and some of them are attempting to pay bribe in the politics, or sometimes to be involved in politics.
Much of the money being laundered through construction is thought to come from Albanian organised crime based overseas. So has Edi ever been tempted? Your critics say you are corrupt, that you take money for licences. Have you taken money for building licences?
I think that when I have to answer this question, it's not the first time, but it seems to me somehow embarrassing to say no, because it looks like I have to answer to a kind of accusation, and and I think when you are accused, it's the burden of the accusator to prove it. It's not my burden to say no, I don't do this kind of things, because it doesn't help. I just say I'm not interested in it. It's very simple.
The road to rebuilding is still long. Much more of Tirana could do with a paint job. And after years of abuse and rorts, politicians are not held in very high regard here. But in the capital's new cafes, made possible by Edi's clean-up, the citizens have a favourite.
Yeah, Edi Rama, I guess, is this kind of cocktail between a pop star and some type of strange artist, a strange painter, but also has the good managing ability and the good management skills.
Unë e përqej, jam tifoze personale e tij. I'm his personal. Ka bërë goxha për Tiranën, ka dhënë një ndryshim shumë të madh. Dhe do bëj përsëri, dhe besoj që do bëj përsëri.
Tirana's new livable image has a national dividend. Smart young Albanians who once fled the country in droves are coming back.
What I can say is that Edi Rama represents a new mentality of the politician and the new mentality of Albanian society. Since the communist regime was throughout from Albania, for last 15 years, there is a long battle between the new generation mentality and the old one. Edi Rama is a symbol of the new generation.
Today, Edi's leading the charge in that generational battle. He's making a run for the chairmanship of Albania's national opposition, the Socialist Party, a job that could one day lead him to becoming Albania's Prime Minister. But it won't be easy. After a long night's negotiations, the old guard have urged delegates to vote against him. Where's the opposition coming from?
The opposition is coming from basically the former chairman of the party and some other people, which is normal. It's a normal reaction of them who are unable to understand that the time ran and it should run with the time, otherwise you are off. Good luck.
His critics claim that Edi's leadership style is too aloof, that he ignores consensus.
No, I listen a lot to people, but of course it's up to me to take the decision, and I'm not a politician of consensus. I don't like consensus. I'm a politician of choice, and I like to make my own choices. And when they are good, they are good. When they are bad, they are bad. This is why I'm here.
Edi's path to politics has not been easy. A few years ago, this was the result of a beating he received from government thugs when he criticised its leader. His zeal for change started at home. His father, Kreshnik, was a committed communist, Albania's most popular state sculptor.
My father had a very strong influence on me as a personality. He was a communist, I wasn't, and he was an official artist. I didn't want to become one. But the special thing about him was that he was very open and at the same time very democratic about it, so he was not imposing anything.
A couple of Edi's paintings hang here in the National Gallery, next to the pieces by his late father. But how does the painter now feel about being the politician?
Of course, it's different because what makes the difference is in art you are an independent spirit. In politics you are a dependent spirit. And from this something is compromised. Because you don't work with colors, you work with people. Because the brushes are the brains of many people. And they don't necessarily follow your hand. And if you ask them to follow your hand, you are a dictator.
Edi's workload means there's no time for painting these days. His only artistic expressions are what he calls these doodles, hanging on the wall at home.
This is the tortures of my mind during meetings, during periods of the day when I think when I have to be concentrated, and I can concentrate more when I draw things and listen.
Edi will soon find himself doodling through many more political meetings. Back at the Socialist Party conference, he's just won the chairmanship by a large majority.
Forca për ndryshuar është arma fituese që ne kemi në dorë, që duhet ta përdorim sot, sepse nesër është shumë vonë.
The next day, he joins his council team for a toast. His message of reform has struck a chord, especially with young Albanians desperate for change. Edi's lack of consensus doesn't easily win allies. It might be a liability, or it could be just what's needed to change the culture of dirty deals that's driven much of Albanian politics. Coming back.
Is that what is a new medium representation of and